What's our first Mint Mobile hotline question today?
Hi, John and crew. This is Shalise. Now that Phase 4 is officially over, I was wondering if you thought that any of the series would have been a better fit for film, or vice versa. Were any of the movies too much for the theatrical release? Should they have been a series instead? Thanks so much. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks for calling that in, Shailene. And we've been talking a lot about Phase 4 lately because even though it's not being talked about a bunch by others, the end of Wakanda Forever marks the end officially of Phase 4. And Phase 4, we've said a lot on this show, well, it's had some absolute gems, some absolute diamonds in Phase 4. It has easily been the most uneven phase of the MCU so far, right? I mean, Phase 1, 2, and 3, all firing on all cylinders. Phase 4 has had some sputters, right? It's been the least consistent of them, but it's also been the first phase that has had Disney Plus Marvel TV shows in them. And I think Shailene brings up an interesting question because sometimes we look at these properties and think, man, that really would have worked better as a movie. I think instantly of Obi-Wan, that Obi-Wan series absolutely should have been a movie. And I forget the name of the good guy online who edited that movie, who edited the series into a movie, cut like 45 or 50 minutes of stuff out, moved some things around, blah, blah, and made like a 2.5 hour, well, I'm not gonna say it's a masterpiece or anything like that, but it was significantly more enjoyable to watch than it was as a TV series. That absolutely should have been there. So as we look at MCU Phase 4, what movies maybe should have been series and what series maybe should have been movies? Let's start with the movie part and maybe which one of those should have been a series. I honestly can only think of one because Shang-Chi, I think, is a top 5 Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe two. There are two potentials. Thor, Love and Thunder is not one of them. Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness is not one of them. Wakanda Forever is not one of them. The two that could possibly stand to have been series, one to me is actually Black Widow. I think Black Widow, because it certainly couldn't do worse than it did as a movie. And not that I thought the movie was terrible. I just think it's one of their weaker films, right? And the way with those types of characters, you can do political intrigue, you can do all that kind of stuff. The number of really enjoyable characters you have in it, particularly I think of Red Guardian, that could have been a 6-part, 7-part series, I think. So there's that one. A movie that I did quite like that maybe could have worked as a series instead might be Eternals.
100%. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Why is that for you? Why is that?
Well, because the idea that the Eternals have been here shaping all of human history, and it's all about this.
You could have done a little Highlander in there, right?
Yeah, Highlander or even Succession. To me, I would have watched that with those dynamics and that actor, and you could really have done it as a 10-part miniseries and delve into more of the history of the world and how they shaped humanity, because that was all very interesting. And I think that if we were able to spend more time with them, the end of that would have been much more resonant. I mean, there was two storylines like Icarus and also
Siri?
Athena coming to grips with who they were, like the different characters, and their arcs could have really worked, I think, stretched out. I would have turned, so that would be the movie I would think should have been a series. And the movie, this is going to seem strange to say, I would have done She-Hulk as a comedy. Make it a 2-hour.
So you're talking about now which series you could have made a movie.
So I'd make the things that struck me as most is Eternal should have been a series and She-Hulk should have been a 2-hour movie. And gone out and made it could have been a really, really, really funny movie. Much more rapid fire. I mean, you could take the worthy jokes out of all that and just turn it into, it would have been such a much more focused, satisfying experience if it was her journey as a lawyer in the superhero realm and that was it.
Yeah, I know it's funny. If you had asked me prior to the start of Phase 4, which of these shows is best suited for a TV show, I would have said She-Hulk. You're going to do an Ally McBeal legal procedural.
Me too.
She-Hulk is the perfect one for a series. But I think part of the reason why I agree with you is just because I was so dissatisfied with the show.
I know.
Because it only works as a movie if it does what the TV show didn't, which is make it funny. So they would have needed an entirely different set of writers and they would have needed to make it funny.
And they had all the pieces they needed. It just didn't, it meandered around as a series. It was like every time, and they could take all the funny stuff. Like you could actually take all the things that are in that series and craft a really funny movie out of it. And you know what I would have done, John? Even this is going to see, people are going to be, what? I would have structured it like the movie Tootsie. Because in Tootsie, Dustin Hoffman turns into a woman.
Yes.
And in this case, the main character turns into She-Hulk. But you could have played out, there was a romantic element, there was learning how to do the job element, and there was all kinds of things, and used that structurally as something you could have hung the movie on. I'm not saying copy Tootsie, but it has a similar, somebody's transforming into something
Yeah, there's
else.
a structure there that could have been followed.
Yeah.
See, for me, when we're talking about the movies that maybe could have been series, it's limited. Like maybe Black Widow, Eternals could be one. I think far more about the series that should have been movies. She-Hulk, I think, is one of them.
Yep.
Loki is another one I think would have worked better as a movie. Like, despite the fact that it was just 6 episodes, there was a lot of filler in that series. And that could have been a really good, tight 2 hour and 20-minute movie, I think.
I agree. And I would say also, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That's my number one, is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That
That's
could have
the one
made
should
a
been
great movie. But, I'm sure someone was thinking, well, we have 2 second stringers. But that you elevate them to first string. And that could have been, again, all the stuff in that show was pretty good. It was just drawn out. It didn't
feel
work.
like it was structured as a show.
No.
And when they tried to make it, it just, and again, and I like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I like it, but I didn't love it. And I think it could have had a better impact because you just think about that basic story, right? The whole thing that the shield was given away. They're trying to implement this new Captain America. Meanwhile, Bucky and Sam have to work together. The thing about there was another super soldier before me, that whole thing, and with where it ends, I think as a movie, it could have been tighter, could have been better. And the other one, I think, if that Captain Winter Soldier is my number one, I think my number 2 is Moon Knight.
Yeah.
That's another one that I think you could have told a good 2 hour, bam, kind of in your face kind of Moon Knight film. And I think that one, so there's actually more for me of the series. The ones that absolutely worked as a series, WandaVision, obviously.
Yes.
Ms. Marvel, obviously. But I think all the other ones could have been movies.
Although Ms. Marvel could have been a great 2 hour movie too.
But it felt like a show, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
very
it did.
Episodic
It did. But I would like to see that Obi-Wan editor take a crack at re-editing Falcon and Winter Soldier into a movie.
Oh my, okay. If you're watching, dude, I know he does watch because when we talked about it on the show before, he actually wrote to me on Instagram. If you're watching, dude, I would love to see you take a crack at Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Too.
Turn that into like a 2 hour, 22 hour, 30-minute movie.
Yeah.
I would love to see what you do with that. Anyway, guys, question is for you. When you look back at Marvel Phase 4 now, at the movies, which ones do you think might have worked better as a series? When you look at the series, which ones do you think might have worked better as movies? Whatever you think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of today's video, Mint Mobile. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months free. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order and activate from home with eSIM while saving tons on phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Guys, I've been using Mint Mobile long before this holiday deal, and I have to say, it is the perfect time to switch. Since I switched to Mint Mobile, I've been spending 1/3 of what I used to spend on my mobile service with the other big name company. And with this buy 3 months, get 3 months free, not only is it a great choice for you, but it makes great gifts for the people you love. Mint Mobile's best offer of the year is here. By going online only and with eSIM and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes those significant savings on to you. All of their plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily and effortlessly with eSIM. Or if you need a new device, for a limited time, get 6 months of free service when you buy a selected device and plan. So guys, for a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea.